All right, let's see what's next. It's gonna be, you know, I don't know how to start this one, but let's just start here. I never keep games in here, by the way, but, well, we'll get into it. What have we got in here? Yeah, I'm sure that I'll be looking for Black Widows in this one. I can promise you that. Let me go get my hand shut. Yeah, this is a remnant from my KISS project, and I'll get into all the details with you in a minute, but let me get this thing out of here. All right, here's what else I have going on around here right now. I dug this Globetrotters out of my shed. I almost never keep games in my shed, but what happened with this Globetrotters is it was supposed to be the donor game for the KISS builds. Well, I didn't really need that much off of it, and I was real strategic when I was taking it apart because I wanted to walk away with the game, either for myself or to build for somebody else, because Globetrotters is a good game. And I like it. I'll never forget, I used to watch on Saturday mornings, sometimes they would show the Globetrotters on the ABC Wide World of Sports. They were in an episode of Scooby-Doo. So, you know, when I was a kid, kind of like when I was talking about with the KISS projects, you know, a lot of this stuff I have some kind of like, you know, affinity for nostalgia-wise. So I was like, I don't want to turn that, I don't want to scrap this thing. So that's what I did. I took only what I needed off of it, and I walked away with decent Globetrotters. And we'll go over what it's going to take to rebuild this and who I'm building it for. So the guy that sent this as the donor game asked me what I was going to do with it, and I said, well, I can do a few things with it. I can give you a small credit for what's left over of it, and, you know, we'll call that good, and I'll keep it. You could sell it yourself as a project game. It's your game. I can't tell you what to do with it if that's what you want to do. It might have more of a value there than I would give you in credit, you know, in all honesty. Or we could build it. If you wanted to build it, we could build it. And he said, okay, let's build it. So I was like, okay, well, that's perfect for me. That way it turns into a game again. It doesn't get scrapped. And so there we go. So we're going to build it. And it's definitely in need of a play field. I mean, it's not getting around that. I took the apron off of it, the apron clips, and a couple minor things, all stuff I have that I can come up with. And I took those off to use on the KISS builds, mostly out of convenience. I could have come up with that stuff because I already have to come up with it to build this. But at the time, I'm like, well, I'll just sort it out later. Every time I need something, let me just go over here and get it off of here, and then I'll figure it out later. So that's what I did. So other than that, it's all there. So you know, no concerns turning this into a game again at all. And I'm going to replace the cabinet, though. I always do. I'll tell you what it is for me. You know, I can Bondo stuff and fiberglass stuff and prime all day long and paint, but it's this floor. I mean, you're going to have a beautiful paint job on the outside, and when you stand this thing up, it's going to look like a piece of cardboard. That's what this looks like. And this one's actually a little bit more solid than most. Usually these are just coming flat out, falling out of the bottom of it. It's starting to lose some of its channeling right here, but it's pretty solid for what it is. It's just, like I said, it's more of a style for me. Like, you know, this is high-end pins, and that means The standards are high, and as a result of that, you know, this just isn't for me. But it's a pretty decent cabinet considering how old it is. All right, so we'll go up there and we'll take a look and we'll see what else we have to work with in terms of building this thing back into a game. All right. Now here's the head. I'm gonna actually reuse the old head. That'll save probably like $300 or $400. These old Bally heads are a pain in the ass to deal with the frames around them and all the intricacies of them. So if I was being budget conscious, which I'm generally not, but if I were, that's a good cost saver if you have a usable head. It's got to be good and usable though, and this one is. So I'll have to replace everything that I took out of there though, and that's going to be the lamp panel hinge, which a friend of mine sent me one of those. I got that. The catch brackets for the lamp panel, the board brackets. I have those board brackets. I'll probably have to make something for the soundboard. They're a little bit different. They're shorter, but I'll have something to make that happen. And I think I need a display bracket, but I only need a display bracket if I use a certain style of display. If I go to like maybe the Pennytech Uno, I don't even need the board bracket because it's a one-piece board and it screws right into there without the use of the bracket. So might not have to fool with that at all. So I'm going to be reusing the old head, and I'll be able to come up with everything that's missing. That's the long and short of that. Had to find an apron. I found this apron. I was kind of happy as shit when I got it because I just look at the pictures on eBay. I'm like, okay, that's the right kind of apron. I think this is said it was from Hocus Pocus, so I think an EM, but anyway, so it came in. I was like, when I got it, looking at it in the pictures, I was like, okay, that looks like a good straight apron. I can work with that, turn that into a Globetrotters apron. I mean, I have to decal it, can't get around that, but it looks like the right apron. So when it came in, I was like, damn, this thing's solid as a rock, man. It's not flimsy at all. And so I put the micrometer on it, and this is 0.065 gauge thickness. And the original apron is 0.045 gauge thickness. So I guess during this time in the EM era, they were making these out of better metal, a little bit thicker gauge. So that is good. I wish I'd have had that for my KISS project, especially when I did my custom apron. I would have loved to have a nice solid apron like this. But this, I'll strip it, I'll prime it, I'll paint it red, and I'll decal it. I don't know if I'll clear over the decals or if I'll just call it good. I'm not necessarily on a budget with this thing. I don't really operate on a budget, but I am trying to be a little bit budget conscious on this because we're really just salvaging what was meant to be a donor game. So I don't want to punish this guy any more than I have to in order to build a nice Globetrotters and make it worth the time and effort on my end. So head's worth using, so we'll reuse the head. We have an apron, got a new lower. So here's the new lower cabinet for it. I got a plywood bottom in this. I'm gonna start using those plywood bottoms in these old Bally's because I like the ability to stain them. Even if I'm not going to customize it, just the ability to stain it and clear it looks good on these old Bally's. So that's what I'm gonna do there. And not really knowing which ones I'm gonna customize and which ones I'm not. I've just been having my cabinets built for these old Bally's with plywood bottoms. That way I have the option either way. Whereas if I get the MDF, then that's it. You know, I'm strictly stuck with the MDF bottoms. Now I wouldn't do that with something like these WPC games and stuff like that. It just wouldn't be correct or even look close to correct. But for these, they get the painted cabinets and the back glasses and all that kind of thing makes sense. So that's what I'm going to do there. So I got a new lower for that, and I have a new lamp panel for this Globetrotters. Okay, first things first, I'm going to do is just pull the playfield out of this, and then I'm going to truck this cabinet in there with the other one so I can figure out how to place the runners and stuff like that. All right, I'll hand truck this up there, and we'll be able to measure everything out and place those runners. there's that. There's the new cabinet. No chocks. I gotta put the 45s in it, but I gotta, you know, I always have them leave the spaces for those boards that go across, but I'm not gonna put them in there. They don't serve any purpose, like I talked about in the KISS video. You know, they're made to hold the transformers off, and no transformers on this, no cage on this, like an EM, so no need for those. Let's grab this head. Okay, there's the head. I pulled that from over there. Got the lamp panel out of it. I got finished gutting it. It's pretty nice. It's got a little bit of swollen. I think this is MDF in the back, so a little of that swollen in a couple spots. Nothing I can't handle. New lower. I got to place those runners. And as you just saw me take the plate head out of this, it'll be a lot easier to do that. So I'll basically look to get this thing in order to where I can get this out of my way. And I'll probably put you up on the tripod and we'll get to work. But that's what's going on so far. All right, there are the runners. I got that in place. Starting to get back in the groove. My neck's been stiff all day, man. I don't know what I did yesterday, but it wasn't good. Whatever it was, I don't want to do it again. I have to skip my workout today. So that's fine. I'll just put that work right into this. And so with the runners in place, I want to stain the floor. I feel like that's probably a smart thing to do next. The reason I want to do it now is I can be as messy as I want to. I'm not having to worry about getting it on anything. And then I can worry about masking it. Here we go. Probably just going to give it either an amber or a yellow stain. I got orange stain. I thought about doing that, but yeah, no. Even though it's basketball theme, I don't think orange makes any sense. You know, I just want it to look good, and the orange floor is probably not going to be what I need. I'm gonna sand it with 220 grit. All right, there's that stained. I'll let it set for a while. Stain the interior walls also, because I don't know how I'm gonna do it quite yet. I think I'm just gonna fade my paint down the walls a little bit and clear everything, and just kind of give it this hardwood look inside, kind of like a basketball floor, but I'm not gonna sit here and tape off lines or anything like that. I don't have time for that kind of customization on this thing, but I do wanna just kind of give it a little bit of a look like that. And I think this will look nice. Just kind of fade the the base down here about midway, maybe, where one thing fades into the other and clear it all. And I think that'll look pretty sharp. And so as a result of that, I've stained all the chalking and blocking, I'll say, and should be good. I'll have to cut the 45s. I might have to stain those again at that time, but it'll look a little bit more like what you see here in the original, but nicer, right? So just that fade. And of course, we don't have the cross braces going across there. I don't want those because it serves no purpose on these builds, because we don't have the EM cage to sit on top of it, and we don't have the transformer sitting on it, so they're just kind of carryovers. The only thing that you need it for is the knocker, but I can just move the knocker to where it hits on this back plate right here just as easily. Just takes in it. All it really takes is a piece of metal and then turn it sideways, and that's fine. All right, so I think that's pretty good there. And I'll put my 45s where the notches are for the standoffs. And I don't know, so I gotta probably gut this of everything I want off of it and throw some of that stuff in the tumbler and get it out of my way so I can focus on get focused on repairing the head and getting this lower ready to prime. And I think that's where things are at right now.